In Istanbul, ATATÜRK'S legacy stands besieged. Police storm the CHP headquarters. Opposition leaders imprisoned, voices silenced. Once the heart of Turkish democracy, now a battleground of power and fear. Is this the final chapter in Turkey's democratic experiment? Or the spark of its next rebellion? In the heart of Istanbul, where East meets West and history collides with modernity, a drama is unfolding that could reshape Turkey's future forever. On September 8th, police stormed the headquarters of Turkey's oldest political party, the Republican People's Party, commonly known as the CHP. Founded by Mustafa Kemal Atatürk himself in 1923, this institution has weathered coups, crises, and countless political storms. But today, the CHP faces perhaps its gravest threat yet. Suat Urs Çağdaş, a member of CHP's executive committee, in a desperate social media broadcast from inside a barricaded room said,
"We are not okay. The building is being tear-gassed."
As pepper gas filled the air outside and security forces moved to install government-friendly appointees, CHP Deputy Chair Gökhan Günaydın added,
"They are attempting to dismantle democracy."
This wasn't just another political skirmish. What began in March with the arrest of Istanbul's charismatic mayor Ekrem İmamoğlu has evolved into something far more sinister. What critics call the systematic destruction of Turkey's main opposition force. President Recep Tayyip Erdoğan's Justice and Development Party, the AKP, has ruled Turkey for more than 2 decades. However, polls consistently show they would lose to the CHP if elections were held today.
The CHP is under an unprecedented attack. It represents democracy, a multi-party system, and the possibility of a change of power in the country. But Erdoğan knows he can't win elections anymore. He wants weak opposition parties like in Russia.
The numbers tell a stark story. Since October 2024, more than 500 people linked to the CHP have been arrested. 16 CHP mayors have been detained, including key figures in Istanbul districts. Government-appointed trustees have replaced elected officials in at least 3 municipalities. The government insists these are legitimate judicial actions against corruption. The opposition sees something else entirely. Ümit Özdağ, leader of the ultranationalist opposition Zafer Party, said,
"Because Erdoğan knows he cannot win the next election, he needs the opposition to lose instead."
The arrest of İmamoğlu was particularly significant. Seen as Erdoğan's strongest challenger for the presidency, the Istanbul mayor was detained on corruption charges he vehemently denies, calling them Kafkaesque charges. His imprisonment triggered Turkey's largest street protests in over a decade, with young Turks taking to the streets under the slogan that has become synonymous with political repression in Turkey, "Silivri is cold," referring to the notorious prison where many of Erdoğan's opponents end up. The government's response to dissent has been swift and harsh. Around 2,000 people were rounded up after the protests, with more than 800 charged with participating in unauthorized demonstrations. These events reveal a pattern that experts say has never been seen before in Turkey's democratic history.
There is no precedent for this in Turkey's democratic history, where the main opposition party is denied internal elections, where the police take over party buildings, and dissident politicians are used to splinter a party. It looks very bleak.
The strategy appears threefold. First, eliminate key opposition figures like İmamoğlu. Second, dismantle their support networks. Dozens of members in his team, described by one CHP official as the party's strategic brain, have been detained. Third, exploit internal divisions within the CHP by pitting different factions against each other. The main rival faction centers around Kemal Kılıçdaroğlu, the 76-year-old former party leader who was voted out after losing the 2023 presidential election to Erdoğan. Now, legal maneuvers threaten to remove current leader Özal and potentially install either a government appointee or a dissident CHP politician instead.
What the government seems to want to do is not destroy the CHP, but to take it over. Not to eradicate it, but to neuter it. Turkey could then become like the Shah's Iran, where there is a yes party and a yes sir party.
But why is the international community seemingly silent as Turkish democracy crumbles in plain sight? The answer lies in Erdoğan's strategic positioning. Turkey straddles Europe and Asia, leads NATO's second-largest army, and holds crucial cards in conflicts from Ukraine to Syria.
Everyone is praising his role in Russia and Ukraine. Western leaders are looking to him to build European defense. And Trump doesn't care what Erdogan does domestically, so he understands he can get away with it.
President Trump's return to the White House has created what Toll calls an international context where regional autocrats feel empowered. Trump himself has said of Erdoğan,
I happen to like him, and he likes me. He's a tough guy and he's very smart.
Despite the mounting pressure, CHP officials maintain their resolve. When asked by the Financial Times if he feared being arrested and sent to jail, party leader Özal made light of the possibility with characteristic Turkish humor.
At least then I will be able to get some sleep. As you can see, there is no bed in my office here.
Yet the implications extend far beyond individual political careers.
This government keeps itself alive by constantly defining an enemy. From the grocery store clerk to the apprentice, from business people to artists and journalists, people across this country are afraid.
As Turkey approaches the next presidential election scheduled for 2028, the question isn't just whether Erdoğan will win or lose. It's whether there will be a meaningful opposition left to challenge him. With İmamoğlu behind bars and facing multiple trials, with party headquarters under siege, and with hundreds of opposition figures detained, the party that ATATÜRK once called a source of pride faces an existential crisis. Whether this is truly the end of ATATÜRK'S party remains to be seen. But what's already clear is that Turkey's democracy itself hangs in the balance, and the world is watching to see if one of NATO's most important members will slide further into authoritarianism or find a way back to the democratic path its founder envisioned over a century ago.